Hi, my name's Amelia. I'm just here in Sydney Park in Sydney's inner west in St. Peter's. The purpose of the assignment today is to take you around and identify 5 native plants and 5 weeds. This is my local bushland park, but of course because it's in a pretty urban part of Sydney, we're only a few kilometres away from the city here. It's not remnant bushland, but I would consider it a bushland park. There's been some very good bush regeneration efforts in this park over the last 10 years or so. This is actually one of my work sites, and it's a area that I feel very grateful to have close to me. I'll just pan you around so you can see some of the site. It is a very big site, so I will show you a few areas. This is a kind of freshwater wetland area. There are a few different areas in this park. So this is one of the plant communities, which is a freshwater wetland area. This is another section of Sydney Park, and it's a different plant community. It's a dry sclerophyll forest. You can see that the vegetation is very different to earlier in the wetlands. This is another plant community in Sydney Park. It's a swamp Alocasuarina forest. It's very much dominated in sections by Alocasuarinas. And before the recent regeneration efforts, they were everywhere. It was very, very thickly wooded with Alocasuarinas. This is another area of Sydney Park, which is basically trying to replicate the eastern suburbs Banksia scrub. This area is gated off for protection, and it's dominated by Banksia species and other shrubs and small trees. So no big trees in this area, a lot of waist-high shrubbery. So I thought I would show you kind of a wider view of the park. I'm standing in the middle of the park right now, right in this wetlands area. I'm looking towards the entrance of the park now, which you can see has the smokestacks. This used to be a brickworks, and then it was a tip, and then it was a park. So it's changed a lot over the last 100 years or so. So you got the wetlands areas, and then as I kind of turn around, you kind of start to see a lot more bushland. So it's a varied park. Like I said, it's been built up over the years, so it sort of includes a lot of different plant communities, and it's quite interesting. This is an example of a Melaleuca linearifolia, or snow in summer, which you can see it kind of looks like it's covered in snow. There's quite a few here. They're very beautiful. It has these incredible bottle brush like flowers that just are in these masses. Very, very common tree in this part of Sydney. And they have, this is the foliage here, they have oil glands in their leaves, so they're quite aromatic. This is the new little flower buds about to blossom here. And they also have this beautiful papery bark which peels off. This is Dichondra repens, or kidney weed, and it's a herbaceous perennial ground cover. It has a prostrate growth habit and these beautiful kidney shaped leaves, and you can see there's just a huge mat of it here, which is looking very healthy and green. It gets these very small, like tiny little flowers, which I can't see any just here. They're very insignificant, and usually you see them in late spring, early summer, but I can't see any popping up here. This is Indigofera australis, or native indigo, with a couple of plants here. It's a shrub and a smallish tree and a couple of others just here. It has these beautiful feathery pinnate leaves, and it's just past the flowering season now, so probably won't see too many flowers, although I can just see one right here, one single flower. It's a really distinct sort of form, and it's that magenta colour to sort of a deep purple colour. This is Calicoma serratifolia, or black wattle. It's got glossy serrated leaves and nice bronze new growth, and it grows these little wattle-like flowers. It's not actually a wattle, but the flowers look similar to a wattle. There's another native plant called Themata triandra, or kangaroo grass. A little bit hard to see, so I'll zoom in. It has these beautiful spikelets and some linear foliage, which is green to a sort of bluey green to an almost purple, and it can grow up to about a metre tall, and very delicate stems. This is Ehrhardia erecta, or panic veldtgrass. It's a very aggressive weed in Sydney. As you can see, it's literally everywhere here, and it takes away nutrients from native grasses like Microlina especially. It has these almost sesame seed like seeds, and has these sort of thick strappy leaves, and if you turn it over, it has a very clear midrib and quite wiry stems. This is another common weed in Sydney called Bidens pilosa, or farmer's friend. It has these spiky barbed seeds that stick in your clothes or in your dog's fur, and that's how the weed is spread. The leaves have serrate margins, and you can see their little yellow florets. And they can grow up to about a metre tall. This is Celtis sinensis, or in my job we just call it Celtis, or Chinese Celtis, because there's a few different kinds. This is another really common weed. Sometimes you just find they're popping up everywhere, and they can get quite big. They can be a sort of small tree, so they stop sunlight and obviously nutrients getting to other native species in the area. They have these egg-shaped leaves with a crenate margin, and very definite veins, and they kind of bend over a bit, the leaves. They have quite a tough taproot, so I'll pull this one out to show you. Hopefully it doesn't break. They also have a kinked taproot, so you have to kind of get quite deep to pull it out, right near the surface of the soil. And it goes very deep. Yeah, so they're another common Sydney weed. This is an onion weed, or the botanical name is Asphodelus fistulosus. It's a common weed here in Sydney Park. It has these soft, floppy, waxy feeling leaves, and it does have a flower which can grow to about 80 centimetres, and they're usually white, sometimes pink. You have to spend a bit of time digging them out because they have corms and these little cormlets that break off and can turn into new plants. So they're a bit of a pain, and it is quite hard to make sure you dig all of them out. This is another common weed in Sydney. It's called Crofton weed, or Ageratina adenophora. It has these trowel-shaped leaves with a sort of serrate to crenate margin and purple stems, and it has these white flowers. It's just past flowering season now, so you can see some of the buds are spent here. So there's a number of different plant families that occur in Sydney Park, but I would say three most common are Myrtaceae, Proteaceae and Poaceae. So I'll go around and give you some examples of each family now. So I've already given you an example in the Myrtaceae family, which is the Melaleuca linearifolia. But we also have a few others here that are quite common. This is another example of a plant in the Myrtaceae family. It's a Callistemon viminalis, or weeping bottlebrush. This is a close-up of the flowers and leaves, and the seeds just here. This is a Kunzia ambigua, or a tick bush, and it's also in the Myrtaceae family. And it has really aromatic foliage that when you crush it, it smells like honey. So in the Proteaceae family, there's a lot of different species in Sydney Park, a lot in the Banksia genus and a few others, so I'll show you a few now. This is a plant in the Proteaceae family called Grevillea sericea. And this is another example of a plant in the Proteaceae family. It's a Banksia rhoba, or a swamp Banksia. It's just about to get its new leaves there, and a new little flower head there. This is another example of a plant in the Proteaceae family. It's called the Daguerreotychia or Hakea teratifolia. And I'll get a close-up of the leaves. It's not flowering right now, but it retains its seed. You can see they look very sharp. So the last plant family I'm going to talk about that's common in Sydney Park is the Poaceae family, which is the grass family. So I showed you earlier the Themata triandra, which is the kangaroo grass, but I'll just show you a few others now. This is another example of a plant in the Poaceae family. It's called blady grass or Imperata cylindrica. And as you can see, it's in the massive clumps here. It has these strap-like leaves. This is Echinopogon ovatus, or echidna grass, and it's another example of a plant that is in the Poaceae family. So thanks for watching. I hope it's been an interesting video, and I'm sorry it was probably quite a lot longer than it needed to be, but I hope I've been able to show you some interesting plants and plant communities in Sydney Park.